Hello, listeners around the globe. This is Dr. Afshan Hashmi, your best selling author, radio, and TV personality. And today, friends, I will be reviewing a book called Understanding Trump. So before doing that, let me remind you that I have written these two books: The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection and The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the global marketplace. And friends, like these two books were bestsellers on Amazon. And if you have bought this book, thanks a lot, and please give me an honest review. And if you haven't bought these two books, please go and buy these two books and give me an honest review. And also, friends, recently the audiobook of these two books were launched and I narrated it, so that is also available in Audible audiobooks and Google Play. So wherever audiobooks are available, these books are available. And now my book is in paperback form, in Kindle and Nook form, as well as in audiobooks. So please go and buy these two books and you will love these two books. In this one, I have devised a business model and called Jugaad Management Principal Business Model, and I have conceptualized the Indian Hindi word of Jugaad for thinking outside the box. And after reading this book, you will know how to increase the profits in your business. And this book was a science fiction geared towards a mystery, and it was released in February 2019 when there was no trace of coronavirus. And this book shows in a very unique way bioterrorism, that how a deadly virus ruins the human population. So please go and buy these two books and give me an honest review. Having said that, friends, thanks a lot. And now I will be reviewing this book, Understanding Trump by Newt Gingrich. And immediately as soon as this book came, I went to buy it. And here I got a signed copy from Speaker Gingrich himself, and he came to Barnes and Noble to give a to talk about the book, and I was there as a listener, and I had already bought this book in Kindle, so I read it, and then I bought it again, and then he signed it for me, and I'm so lucky to meet Speaker Gingrich, and then he signed it for me. So just love it. So now, friends, let me talk about the book Understanding Trump by Newt Gingrich. Let me talk first about the author. About Newt Gingrich is the former House Speaker and 2012 presidential candidate, uh, Gettysburg, Pearl Harbor, and To Save America, Stopping Obama's Secular Socialist Machine are three of his 14 New York Times bestsellers. He's a regular guest on national political shows. Now I will tell you about the book, and I got the about Newt Gingrich and about the book from Amazon. Learn. This is about the book. Learn how Trump is making America great again, and why government and media elites attack his vision in this inspiring and informative book from one of his key political advisors, Sean Hannity. Donald Trump is unlike any president we have ever had. The only person ever elected to be commander in chief who has not first held public office or served as a general in the military. Trump's principles grow out of 5 decades of business and celebrity success, not politics. The president owes his position to the people who believed in him as a candidate, not to the left wing government and media who have expressed contempt for him since his first day on the campaign trail. Trump has enacted policies and set goals that send our country in a bold new direction, one that is unreasonable to Washington elites but sensible to millions of Americans outside the Beltway. With understanding Trump, Newt Gingrich provides unique insight into how the president's past experiences have helped to shape his life and style of governing, including a thorough analysis of how President Trump thinks and makes decisions, as well as his policy, as well as his philosophy, doctrine, and forward-thinking political agenda. Discover Trump-style solutions for national security, education, healthcare, economic growth, government reform, and other important topics. In this eye-opening book, Gingrich also investigates and exposes the forces in the Washington establishment, media, and bureaucracy that oppose the president at every turn. Finally, understanding Trump explains the president's actions so far and lays out a vision for what Americans can do to help make President Trump's agenda a success. With your help, President Trump will be able to overcome corrupt interest in Washington and fulfill his promise to make America great again. So this was about the book, and now I like to. This one is an editorial review, which I liked, and it is inspiring and informative. I highly recommend it. Sean Hannity. And then there were two reviews from other readers on Amazon, which I liked. So I thought before giving my analysis, because this is the line of action I use. So it is reviews of readers on Amazon. Number one, which I liked, was if you want to understand Trump, this is a book you want to get. Newt Gingrich has a PhD in history. He has a unique ability to apply a historical context to just about anything. He has a simple writing style that makes it easy to read. He was one of Trump's chief advisors during the campaign and still advises them during his presidency. Because of this, Newt has unique perspectives on how Donald Trump operates. Throughout this book, he uses countless examples of how Trump gets things done. One good example is the use of a technique called the OODA loop. This technique was developed by U.S. Air Force Colonel John Boyd. The acronym stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, Act, and Loop Back to Observe. He points out that this is how Trump gets things done. Newt observed him during the campaign and he says he would go to rallies, see what topics evoke the most reaction from the crowds, orient his focus to those issues, decide what his best message was based on those reactions, and then act on them. Most often, the action would be in the form of a tweet designed to capture the news media attention. Then he would immediately switch back to observing to see how his tweets or comments were perceived by his supporters. This is only one of the many examples that Newt gives in this book. Newt understands history, understands the political process. He was Speaker of the House, is a good friend of Trump, and has observed him countless times over the years before, during, and after the campaign. Now, as Trump as president, if you want a source or how Trump operates, this is the book for you. So, this was a reader's review. And now, friends, I will read another review which I liked on Amazon, and here I go. My husband and I read this together and learned so much about our president. I was more liberal than my husband, although, with all the shenanigans in the media and the horrible things they have done to him, I am no longer following the Democrat Party and especially not the far left liberals. But reading this book confirmed that my choice is right, and that is, this man is more than qualified to be a president and truly has a brilliant plan. If the idiots would leave him alone or, God forbid, support him, I can only imagine the amazing things he could do for our nation. And now, friends, so these were the two reviews which I liked from Amazon. And now, friends, I will be reading little bit about the forward, and the forward was given by Eric Trump. So, forward by Eric Trump, and here it is. When my father called my family together to confirm that he would run for president, he said we would quickly learn who our real friends were. He was right. In a short time, it was clear that Newt Gingrich and his wife Calista were true friends of the Trump family. When I met Newt, my first impression of him was that he was incredibly direct, a trait close to our own hearts, and a trait found among those to find out our family was about to face the toughest battle of our lives, and throughout the long, hard fought Republican primary and the general election, the Gingriches fought with us. Newt became more than just a surrogate. He became a friend who profoundly understood my father's tenacity and his passion for one singular goal, to make America great again. This understanding became vital as the media and political pundits repeatedly failed to grasp my father's practical common sense approaches to trade, infrastructure, immigration, national security, the rebuilding of our great military, VA reform, manufacturing, jobs, taxes, healthcare, and so much more. So, this was a little bit of the forward I read by Eric Trump, and here it is. I'm showing you again. And now I will read some parts of the book which I liked, and the introduction uh, says, and I will read little bit from the introduction. Why this book? It is astonishing to me as a historian how the elite media and much of the political establishment refuse to try to understand Donald Trump. They have been so rapidly opposed to him, so ideologically committed to left wing values, and so terrified of the future that they haven't stopped and considered how extraordinary his success has been. President Trump is one of the most remarkable individuals to ever occupy the White House. His set of practical business experiences and his lack of traditional political governmental experiences make him a unique president. President Trump is the first person to be elected president without first having served in public office or as a general in the military. He defeated more than a dozen other Republicans in the primary, many of whom were first class candidates, governors, senators, business leaders, physicians, and so forth. He defeated a multi billion dollar campaign machine for Hillary Clinton. He defeated the mainstream media, which opposed him at every turn, and he did this without an army of political consultants or spending hundreds of millions of dollars on TV ads. So, this was a little bit about the introduction, friends, and now I will read part one, Understanding Trump. It is impossible to understand President Donald J. Trump without first understanding where he came from. The knowledge he gained from decades of running a successful world spanning business shapes every decision he makes. The following chapters describe the most remarkable change agent to win the presidency. President Trump seems different because he is different. From building big buildings to running casinos, managing golf courses, creating the top rated popular TV show The Apprentice, and owning and running the Miss Universe contest, Trump has experiences and lessons from life and business no other president has had. To understand his presidency, you must understand his background. From Queens to the White House. So, this is chapter one, and a little bit about from there. Even today, months after Trump won the election and was sworn in as president, the news media still tries to cover him as if he were a normal politician, and his ideological opponents continue to be viciously dishonest. They are either clueless or lying ignore them. America has never seen a candidate and a president like Trump. Many in the elite political class and the national media still simply do not and cannot grasp his methods. Since he announced his bid for the presidency, Donald J. Trump has been misunderstood, underestimated, and misrepresented. Think about the torrent of criticism Trump received for his announcement event at Trump Tower. In addition to the intense criticism he received for what he said about people who are in the country illegally, Trump was mocked for ad libbing his speech, boasting about his wealth and his theatrics. The elites snubbed him, but his message resonated with normal Americans. So, this was chapter one, little bit, and let me read now another chapter. Two, and here it is. And I will read little bit from chapter 2. Pro American spirit. The most important part of Trump's pro American principle, which has received almost no media coverage, is his desire to make America great again for all people and heal racial divides here at home. You can see Trump's desire to unify the country in a speech he gave as a candidate on October 2016 in Charlotte, North Carolina, entitled A New Deal for African Americans. African American citizens have sacrificed so much for this nation. They have fought and died in every war since the Revolution, and from the pews and the picket lines, they have lifted up the conscience of our country in the long march for civil rights. So, little bit I read, and then I was talking about like UDA. So, let me read little bit about UDA loop bringing jet fighter tactics to Washington. Trump operates more like an entrepreneur launching a startup than a traditional executive. This means he's constantly looking for the next opportunity, acting quickly, and continually assessing results. His model reinforces success, stops failure, and requires very fast feedback. This is similar to what the military calls the OODA loop, which stands for observe, orient, decide, act, and then loop back to observe again. The theory was developed by U.S. Air Force Colonel John Boyd, a celebrated military strategist who studied fighter jet combat, specifically how the American F 86 Sabre fought Soviet made MiG 15s in Korea. So now, friends, now I will read little bit about chapter 6, toxicity, identity politics. There has been a fundamental shift in the way that liberals approach civil rights. This shift has twisted a unifying movement that favors equal rights for all people into a brand of toxic identity politics, which is dividing the nation along racial, religious, sexual, and gender lines. So, and this book is being discussed in my book club, and my book club is called Dr. Afshan Hashmi's Glam and Glitzy Book Club. And if you want to become member, please go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com, and there are details how to become a member, and there is a membership fee there, and you have to give that in order to become member. I have my book club meetings like on Thursdays at 6 o'clock on every Thursday. And so, friends, in this book club, I am doing this, and only members are invited to attend this meeting. So, now, friends, let me show you again this beautiful book. And now I will give my analysis and review. As soon as this book came, I bought it. Wonderful book. And As I told you, I went to Barnes and Noble to listen what Mr. Newt Gingrich has to say, and there was a lot of people there, and there was a very good Q&A kind of a format, and it was very good. So I attended that, and before going that, I already had a Kindle edition of the book which I read, and then I went there, and as I showed you before, it was so nice of Speaker Gingrich to sign this book for me. And here is his signature, and I had the honor to meet him. So I was reading my analysis. If I'm reading to check out a person, I want that writer to thoroughly understand the individual, particularly when the person is living like President Donald J. Trump. King has actually done an excellent solution to the American public with composing understanding Trump, as he advises in the opening book pages. If you want to understand President Trump, ignore what the political uh, if you want to understand President Trump, ignore what the political establishment and the mainstream media say about him. Instead, start with the key elements of his background that makes him different from normal politician and affect the way he operates. As a chronicle and political insider, Gingrich writes with authority and insight such as Trump quickly learning Washington the way he learned the hotel and real estate businesses, and his ability to get things done will be amazing. One key to his success is that Trump hires really good people and demands a lot from them. He also delegates details to competent people, but he always gives credit to those who earn it. And this was like on page 250. I read Understanding Trump cover to cover and also appreciated it. I highly recommend this book and give it 5 stars. So, this was my analysis, and if you haven't read this book, this is a beautiful book to read, and so go and buy it wherever books are sold. And this was my analysis. And as friends, you know, I am best-selling author of 2 books: The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace, and also The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. This was a business book where I devised a business model called Jugaad Management Principle Business Model, and then I conceptualized the term Jugaad and how you can be profitable in your business. And this was The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, and these books are available in paperback, in Nook, and in Kindle and in audiobook form. So wherever books are sold worldwide, they are available. So please go and buy it and give me an honest review. And having said that, friends, I recently launched my Patreon page. So, and it is www.patreon.com/Afshan Hashmi. So, if you want to know what kind of memberships I provide there and what are the benefits of those memberships, please go to my Patreon page and become my patron to support my creativity and innovation. And having said that, I once again want to remind you that this is a beautiful book, Understanding Trump by Newt Gingrich. So please go and buy this book, and you will love this book because I loved it and many other people loved it. And this is my video review, and as you know, I give video review, and there is a nominal fees for that. So you will get a video like this, and it will be shared on all my MP4 file of that. And friends, having said that, now I want to close this meeting of my book club, which is called Glam and Glitzy Book Club, and go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com to know more details about my book club and my book. And if you want to contact me, I am Afshan at drafshanhashmi.com, and that is my email. My other two Websites are www.drafshanhashmi.com and www.drafshanhashmisradio.com. And having said that, now cheers and be safe and healthy, and hire me to do your video reviews of your books, of your makeup products, and of your movies. And cheers and bye bye.